This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
How are things with the new guy?
All we do is go out to dinner.
That's it?
I mean, he picks up the tab every time, which is great.
Why? He's using you. He probably has a city thank you card and he gets 2 times the points at restaurants.
So he's just racking up points with me.
Some people.
Ugh.
No, I got it.
The City Thank You Preferred Card. Now earn 2 times the points on dining out and entertainment with no annual fee. To apply, go to city.com/thankyoucards.
It's not about how many miles you can get out of the C-Max Hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
You think you know the story of Dracula? You have no idea. But I'm going to show you.
My enemies threaten to destroy my kingdom. I want the power to save my family.
Dreams.
Welcome to your life.
My name is Dracula.
There's a room where the light won't find you.
What's happening to you?
I chose this. Because men do not fear swords. They fear monsters.
This is not who you are.
There's always a prize for power.
Everybody wants to rule.
I will not be defeated!
Dracula Untold. In theaters and IMAX, October 10th. The Ouija board has existed for centuries. It is used to communicate with the dead.
If there's a presence here, please make yourself known. This is a joke. Oh my God. It's not even real, okay?
It's just a game.
Ouija.
We're saying goodbye!
Rated PG-13.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Scribbled on your sign, headline, New York Times, standing on the edge of a revolution. Hey, hey, just obey your secret safe with the NSA. In God we trust, or the CIA, standing on the edge of a revolution. Yeah, we're standing on the edge of a revolution. Revolution, revolution, revolution. We're no, they're all depending on mass confusion. No, we can't sit back. What do we want? We want change. And how we gonna get there? Revolution. What do we want? We want change. Standing on the edge of a revolution. No, we won't give up. We won't go away. 'Cause we're not about to live in this mass delusion. No, we don't wanna hear another word you say. 'Cause we know they're all depending on mass confusion. No, we can't turn back. We can't turn away. 'Cause it's time we are relying on the last solution. No, we won't lay down and accept this fate. 'Cause we're standing on the edge of a revolution. What do we want? We want change. And how we gonna get there? Revolution. What do we want? We want change. Standing on the edge of a revolution. What do we want? We want change. And how we gonna get there? Revolution. What do we want? We want change. Standing on the edge of a revolution.
We are living in times where there is an assault on sanity. Political correctness has run amok and logic has been left by the wayside. Do you constantly ask yourself, WTF is going on in this nation? Do you sometimes feel like a stranger in your own country? Well, fear not. You are not alone. This is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show, coming to you from deep inside flyover country with your hosts, V. Wright and Jose Estevez.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to WTF. I'm your host, V. Wright.
And I am Jose Estevez, your undocumented Mexican-American co-host, living the dream and looking forward to casting, well, a few votes in the upcoming midterms in 6 days. And this is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show.
And I give you one guess what today is.
That Camel Day thing?
It's WTF Wednesday.
What the F? Yeah, we don't do that whole camel thing. That was old 2 days after it started. And I just wanted to let the folks know before we get going that next Tuesday on Election Day, I'll be out. I might be a little bit late for the show, V, just so you know. I have to go to a couple other states and, exercise my right to vote. So just wanted to let you guys know.
So you'll be hitting a few states?
I think so. I think there's a couple.
Oh.
I know I'll be welcomed with open arms in Illinois. I'm pretty sure anyway. So I just wanted to, give that.
Well, you can always travel to Maryland too now.
That's true. I'm not quite 164, so I think I'll stay out of New York City. I'll stay out of New York City anyway.
Good gravy. You could always hit Oregon. Oregon's just like no ID required as well. So.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
That's good to know. That's right. We were told that by our ace reporter on the scene over there.
That's right.
Tori, that's right. First-hand account.
Yeah,
Definitely.
These are all definitely what the F moments.
And speaking of what the F moments, V, what have you got for us? Anything?
Oh, I know you've got some things. Why don't you lead us out tonight?
All right, folks, here we go. Armed man in a Hussein Obama mask robs a Dunkin' Donuts in Salem, New Hampshire. Well, a man allegedly by the name of Hussein Obama has been robbing the country blind, specifically every generation after us, for infinity for the last 6 years. What the F?
Oh, what the F indeed. Has anybody taken a look at our national debt?
I think it's close to 8. Did I just see 18 trillion now?
Yeah.
I mean, give or take a couple $100 billion because,
That's you've got to take into account that that's government accounting too, so it's probably at least 3 times that much.
Government accounting, is that an oxymoron? Heavy on the moron?
Well, I wasn't talking about government accountability.
Oh, well, that's a whole nother animal altogether right there.
Well, what isn't in the mainstream? Pennsylvania is monitoring over 100 people who recently entered the United States from the Ebola hot zone. What the F?
Oh my goodness! That might be racist. I'm not sure if we can even do that. I don't think we can pay any special attention to them. But
we're not allowed to consider the Ebola patients. Oh, that's right. If you're in Maine, Ebola doesn't exist.
And well, if you're a nurse or a doctor too,
and you look like Debbie Waddlebutt Schultz.
It's Blabbermouth Schultz. Get it right. Well, I've got an interesting one here. According to everyone's favorite State Department Baghdad Bob wannabe, Jen Psaki, Palestinians who throw Molotov cocktails at Israelis are not considered terrorists by this regime. What the F?
That is amazing. It's
sickening, actually, but it's amazing is another word for it.
The fact that this stuff even flows from their mouth. Have you ever considered how they don't bite off their tongues?
I don't know how they can say a fraction of the things that they say with a straight face. I mean, we can go back to Hillary, the human Teddy Ruxpin doll. What's her name? You got to help me with her name right now. Susan Rice. How can I forget that? The human Teddy Ruxpin doll. Just hook her up to a USB and she'll just lie her head off. But I mean, seriously, these people will just and let's call it what it is, folks. I'm not going to say that they're being deceitful or they're lying. They are flat out lying. They know at that time what they are saying is incorrect and untrue. That's a lie. Call it what you want. They lie all the time. And it's just, I don't know I don't know if they have a soul sometimes. You just wonder. I mean, really?
They don't. Most of them don't have souls.
I wonder a lot. But.
Do you have any more what the F moments?
Well, I might have a couple. Okay. Here's one. 2 words for you. Jeb Bush. Really, America? What the F? You know what? We got to stay out the bushes. I mean, 2 was enough, I think, for me. I'm good. I mean, and I did like W better than I like who we've got now by far. Even though he spent money like a drunken Democrat, and was kind of towards the middle, if not the left. But he did the one thing. His redeeming factor for me, he did seem to love America. He really did. When you saw him with the troops after the war started and stuff, I mean, he really seemed to love those guys, and they loved him. I mean, it was a genuine warmth you could see there, and that buys a lot of credit with me. Even though so many things he did, including the Patriot Act, which just has far-reaching ramifications and will for a long time, and the current regime has taken it way further. But I'll give him credit for at least he seemed to love this country, and that buys a lot of credit with me. But you know what? I think 2 is enough, and there's other people out there that are more than qualified that need to step up, and not Jeb. I mean, he's like ultra rhino. I'm not even sure if he knows what he is. So I would just say 2 is enough. Let's try for something different.
Well, another redeeming quality that I don't think that I really thought about until we ended up with President Pandemic, and that was he did not blame Clinton and everybody else for everything that was wrong in his administration.
Oh, that's a very good point. He did take responsibility. You're right.
I too have had enough of Bushes. I don't want any Clintons. I don't want any Bushes, and I doggone sure don't want anybody else named Hussein, Barack, or Obama. If they've got any of that semblance in their name, forget it, they can go.
How about Michelle?
Oh my God! Please don't do that.
I didn't just go there, did I? Yes, I did.
Or Jarrett's. I don't want any Jarrett's.
Well, I mean, she rules, behind the scenes, and nobody hardly probably knows who she is, which is a great gig for her. But certainly nobody associated with the current regime in any way, shape, or form. No.
Oh God!
And like
can
you
you
said,
imagine
no more Clintons either.
President
We've had enough
Holder?
of the Clintons.
Can you imagine a President Holder?
You know what? Really? I mean, Supreme Court Justice Holder. That ought to just make the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
Good Lord.
No, none of the above.
None of the above, exactly.
Folks, at that point, you can write in your esteemed undocumented Mexican American co-host at that point, and I'll be glad to we can do a write-in campaign.
Or if you don't have a war on women, you can write in this co-host name.
Yeah, there you go. Or how about both of us? We can. Oh boy, I don't think I'd last past the inauguration, if you know what I mean. I think it'd be the shortest presidency or vice presidency in the history of the United States.
You know, you could write us in as president and vice president. Well, that would work. We have more common sense than anything that's been there in a while. Okay.
Well, that's part of the problem. I don't think half of America, or 47% could handle that. So.
Well, and taking into account that we know a little about the law, you know, common sense might reign just a little bit.
Well, and the fact that I've got a copy of the Constitution right here on my desk, yeah, I mean, boy, that would be a problem, wouldn't it? Heaven forbid we'd go by that document written by those old racists way back when.
I mean to tell you. Well, in Connecticut, a little girl is being refused entry to her school for 23 weeks. For 3 weeks, and her father is threatening to sue. Now, my personal opinion on this is, don't take your kid to a family wedding in an Ebola hot zone before they have to go to school on Monday. Wow. What the F?
That's just unbelievable. I mean, folks, these are pulled right out of the headlines. We don't have to make up a single thing. It's just mind-boggling. Well, I've got another one here. Jose Canseco accidentally shot himself in the hand while cleaning a handgun. The police said alcohol didn't appear to be involved. No word about performance-enhancing drugs. What the F?
Oh, not more of him. Is he related to you?
I knew you were going to ask. I don't. He might be my third cousin on my mother's side, maybe. I don't think so. At least not that I could get any money out of him or anything, or a card or something at Christmas time. So, and plus I tend to know that you treat any gun like it's loaded even when you're cleaning it, and of course you would never clean a loaded gun. You'd be extra careful, but apparently he wasn't aware of that. So
unbelievable. Well, we all heard yesterday about the hackers hitting the White Mosque.
Yes.
Well, never missing an opportunity to pass blame. Today, the White Mosque reports that the hackers have been crippling them for weeks. And here I thought it was the golf game. What the F?
I mean, between people jumping over the fence and running willy-nilly through the White House, what is going on over there? I mean, nincompoops, nimrods, total incompetence. What is going on over there? What the F, indeed?
Nobody's home. The lights are on, but nobody's home.
Well, we know
they're all out at the golf course.
I was going to say, one at least is out at the golf course most of the time, but doesn't he leave his grandma? Is it his grandma or his aunt or something? Doesn't she live there too? They don't talk a whole lot about that.
I thought that was Michelle's mama.
Oh, maybe that's who that is. Okay, well, anyway. Hey, here's an interesting one for you, V. And once again, folks, they just write themselves. David Nyland, the investigator leading the probe into the Secret Service's 2012 prostitution scandal, quietly resigned in August after he was observed entering and leaving a building that was under surveillance as part of a prostitution investigation by sheriff's deputies in Broward County, Florida.
Well,
what
now he was
F?
Now he was just looking for a hook up.
Well, maybe he thought he had to. Never mind. I mean, it just writes itself. This simply just writes itself. So I don't know who's going to be investigating now. Probably nobody. But apparently he got way too much involved in that investigation and figuring out what that was all about. So he's done.
Well, we say he's done. He's probably not done. This is the regime.
Probably got
now.
Promoted, actually.
I was gonna say, is he in line for replacement for Eric Holder?
It's very possible. It's possible at this point.
Good gracious! Well, in a recent speech, Commander Califf joked, "You can only vote once. This isn't Chicago." What the F?
See, they don't even hide it. They don't even hide it. They're not ashamed of it. They know. That's the way they win these things.
Well, I'm going to follow up with this one because we're speaking of Chicago. Now, Chicago Alderman Leslie Hairston, a Democrat, was running a Class 4 voter felony. Now, we all know that you can't bribe people for votes, and back in the day in Chicago, they used to call it cigarette vote because they would go to the homeless and give them cigarettes and then take them to the polling location and get them to vote. That's the way they used to do it. Want to know how they do it now? Well, Miss Hairston has a new idea. She is offering those who brought her proof that they voted for her, an entry into her own little lottery program that awarded winners gift cards worth up to $100 each, and she's facing no charges. What the F?
Oh, my God. Oh, I don't even know if there are rules and laws in Chicago. I'm not sure. I don't know that there is at all. And if they are, they're probably written on in disappearing ink on that special paper in a 3-ring binder, to pick and choose. And wow, that's amazing. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, though.
I don't know what surprises you.
Speaking of Ebola, and of course we have been doing that a lot lately, what is up with that Ebola doctor, Craig Spencer, who went back to New York City after coming out of the Ebola hot zone and had a grand time out on the town before coming down with Ebola? Did that dude work for Doctors Without Borders or Doctors Without Brains?
Oh, what the F?
Did he take the Hippocratic Oath, or, like most leftists, communists, progressives, and other liberal scum, the Hippocratic Oath? What the F indeed.
Well, there was an interesting thing about that earlier today. They were talking, and, they said, well, he was symptom-free. So if he would have come down with symptoms at 2 o'clock while he was on the subway, does that mean no one was exposed until he got off the subway? I mean, how does that work? If he was on the subway at 2 o'clock and he got off the subway at 2:15, does that mean all those people are safe?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and who wore their bowling shoes after he was done with it? I mean, it just brings up a whole multitude of questions. But once again, typical leftist, not worried about anybody. But seriously, he's a doctor, though. Just like this nurse that now is in Maine, and she said she's going to fight the bullying from the... I mean, what in the heck? Just 21 days. It's not like they put you in confinement somewhere. What's 21 days? I don't
the thing that blows your mind is that these people are so selfless when they go over, and are much to be admired for their efforts when they go over into these locations and they assist these people. And we sit here and we give them, we adore them and we give them our admiration and our respect for their selfless act. But then they come back here and they do stuff like this, which is some of the most selfish behavior. And it's like, what? Why is it that you can go to a foreign country and behave with common courtesy and decency, with a what I call a Christian heart, but you come back here and you're a typical selfish liberal idiot?
Right. Yeah, it's hard to reconcile. It really is.
Oh, I guess because they're doctors, and in the medical field, they know so much more than everybody else that they would know if they were sick, because doctors perform surgery on themselves, and seriously.
Good point.
Jeez.
You got more of these? I'm sure they're loving them.
Go ahead.
Well, okay, I've got one here. According to Joel Osteen, senior charlatan, pastor, at the Lakewood Church in Houston, quote, Obama is doing a great job and loves the Lord. What the F?
Now, can you tell me which Lord he loves? Because it's not...
Allahu Barakbar? I don't know.
I think their exact words were, him and his wife, were that they believed he was a Christian man who loved the Lord. And I think that they're delusional. So, I mean...
I do too. I think maybe all the teeth whitener has gone to their brain. But that's just one man's opinion, folks. I could be wrong. Just putting that out there.
Oh, I've got one for you.
All right, let's do it.
The pro-amnesty group La Raza is circulating an article from the Washington Post to illegals nationally explaining which states do not require any ID to vote. What the F?
Oh, I'm telling you. That once again, right out there in the open. They're not hiding it a bit.
I don't know why I did that story. Didn't you get that article?
They're not hiding it a bit.
You didn't get that article? They didn't send it to you?
No, I didn't get that. Oh, no, I don't think I did.
I thought that's where you got your driving directions and your map.
I'm not going to say anything more that might intend to incriminate me. I think I'm just going to zip it right now. Except for another what the F moment. Can I do one?
Sure, go ahead.
Our good old leftist buddy Bill Maher is facing fire from Berkeley. According to Muslim students there, he's racist and bigoted. Here's his statement. Quote, dealing with Hamas is like dealing with a crazy woman who's trying to kill you. You can only hold her wrist so long before you have to slap her, Mr. Maher said on a previous occasion. And on another, he's credited with saying the Muslim world has too much in common with ISIS. Bill Maher, I love you, man, at least on this subject. What the F? I guess occasionally he has like a moment of clarity or something like that. But boy, he's taken, but once again, here's these students say he's racist and bigoted because he speaks out against Islam. But of course, there's no tolerance coming from Islam. I mean, you can't say anything about them. Christians go ahead all day long. But if they say something about Islam, they show their true colors and how racist and bigoted they truly are and intolerant, like most leftists tend to be.
Well, it's do as I say, not as I do.
True.
True. That's
the time, every time.
That's the mentality. It's a power game. It really is a power game with them. And you are their friend as long as you are agreeing with what they say. And the minute you sidestep them, and it doesn't have to be on a large issue. It is any topic at all. You become instant enemy number one.
Right. And they will.
And a racist, and of course a racist.
Well, that goes without saying. That's racist. I mean, that just goes without saying. There, did I do that okay? How'd that sound?
I'm not even going to tell you.
Okay, I'll keep working on that one.
Well, an unnamed Obama official says Benjamin Netanyahu, who, might I remind you, before he led Israel, he was an IDF Special Forces soldier. Not only was he in a Special Forces unit, but his unit has been classified that he led as the top Special Forces unit, most effective in the history of the IDF.
Impressive.
Okay. And one of the aides for Obama says he's a chicken chit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm choosing my words carefully.
Right.
What the F? Seriously? This man has the ability to spin this regime, any member on this regime, around like a top in a child's toy chest.
Or like a dreidel. That would be a more appropriate.
A dreidel, absolutely.
There we go. But V, Hussein Obama did a little bit of blow. Not going to say any more about that. Some marijuana, and didn't he eat a dog one time? So I mean, I don't know what that means, but.
Well, it just shows. It just shows how physically athletic. I mean, you can look at him and tell when he swings that golf course. Oh, could you not see his bulging muscles when he was trying to skeet shoot like a girl with his mom jeans on?
Yeah, if there was ever a picture that was photoshopped, that was one of them.
Oh,
that was pathetic. I think my 9-year-old could do better than that with a Photoshop. My word.
Oh, Lord.
That was something. I've got another one.
Go ahead.
And this is the last one I've got, actually. And we should talk about this a little bit more after the break. I see it's almost break time. But, folks, you're not going to believe this one because I really didn't. And we can talk more about it. Brought to you by the perpetually victimized Afro-Americans, the term, and I'm not kidding and making this up. You can Google it on the break. Post-traumatic slave syndrome. What the F?
Are you kidding? Are you seriously?
Google it on the break, folks. Post-traumatic slave syndrome. Heard it in a training last week and almost fell right out of my chair.
Oh,
wow.
My goodness. You have got to be kidding. That is.
I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not.
I don't know who has that because I don't have that.
Well, no, they're saying that African Americans or blacks or Afro Americans, I don't like to call them African Americans because none of us should be hyphenated. We're all just Americans. But they still have this. What is it? A couple centuries later?
I'm going to have to ask. I'm going to have to ask my black friends. The ones with brains.
But I'm telling you right now, this is a real term, and this is how some of their mentality is. Post-traumatic slave syndrome.
That is a
that they
true
still have
what
this.
the F. We'll talk about that after the break. Guys, we'll be back in just a moment.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
Over the next 40 years, the United States population is going to grow by over 90 million people, and almost all that growth is going to be in cities. What's the healthiest and best way for them to grow so that they really become cauldrons of prosperity and cities of opportunity? What we have found is that if that family is moved into safe, green, affordable housing, places that have access to great school systems, access to jobs, and multiple transportation modes, then the neighborhood begins to thrive and really, really take off. The oxygen of community redevelopment is financing. And all this rebuilding that happened could not have happened without organizations like Citi.
One of the things that we really try to do is to collaborate with people like Jonathan Rose, who are really like-minded and really can also provide innovative solutions to social issues.
And Citi has formed a partnership with our company so that we can take all the lessons from the revitalization of urban America to other cities. So we're now working in Chicago and in Washington, D.C., and Newark.
It's branching off of Jonathan's expertise and the fact that he has done so many wonderful affordable housing projects, new development and rehabilitation work. And so we were really seeing that there was a need for his skill in areas even outside of New York.
It's amazing how important safe, affordable housing is to the future of our society.
You meet new people, they want to know what you do. And when you tell them your job is to invest in things like low-income housing and schools and healthcare, they're shocked and they're so surprised that a job like this exists in finance. They always say that they had no idea, and then they want to know how they can get a job like that.
The design of the Ford Escape is clearly intended to grab your eye. Oh, and your foot. Huh, ain't that a kick? The Ford Escape with the foot-activated liftgate. Go open up something interesting. Go further.
You think you know the story of Dracula. You have no idea. But I'm going to show you.
My enemies threaten to destroy my kingdom. I want the power to save my family.
Dreams.
Welcome to your life.
My name is Dracula.
There's a room where the light won't find you.
What's happening to you?
I chose this. Because men do not fear swords. They fear monsters.
This is not who you are.
There's always a prize for power.
Everybody wants to rule.
I will not be defeated!
Dracula Untold, in theaters and IMAX, October 10th. The Ouija board has existed for centuries. It is used to communicate with the dead.
If there's a presence here, please make yourself known.
This is a joke.
Oh my god. It's not even real, okay?
Ouija.
We're saying goodbye!
Rated PG-13.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
So don't tell me who's wrong and right when liberty starts slipping away. And if you ain't gonna fight, get out of the way. 'Cause freedom makes so free when you breathe red and white and blue. I'm giving all of myself, 'cause that's what I do. And they call me warrior, they call me loyalty, and they call me ready to provide relief and hellfire wherever you need me to be. I'm an American warrior, citizen soldier. I'm an American warrior, citizen soldier. Citizen soldier. I'll never leave another behind. I will never accept defeat. I'm a soldier in war, civilian in peace. 'Cause freedom makes so free when you breathe red and white and blue. I'm giving all of myself. How about you? And they call me warrior, they call me loyalty, and they call me ready to deploy, engage and destroy whenever you need me to be. I'm an American warrior, citizen soldier. I'm an American warrior, citizen soldier. Citizen soldier. Citizen soldier.
All right, and welcome back to WTF. I'm V. Wright.
And I'm Jose Estevez. Welcome back, folks. We want to share our phone number with you again in case you've forgotten it. We need you to call tonight. You might have your own WTF moment, or for whatever reason you want to call, something to vent about, something you want to discuss. It's fair game. Give us a call. 313-462-0068. That number again is 313-462-0068. It's a high-energy, fun night, folks. Don't be afraid to call in. If you've got something to say, or like I said, if you want to share your own WTF moment, we'd appreciate your calls. So please give us a call. We've got a couple more of these for you. We've got a bunch of them tonight. Marathon County, Wisconsin police sent a SWAT team with an MRAP. Now, that's a mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle. Those big vehicles that were used in Afghanistan, especially mine-resistant, those big beasts that are being brought back here now and given to regular police departments. They sent a SWAT team in an MRAP to collect a 75-year-old property owner for failure to pay $86,000 in fines for code violations. That means he had a lot of stuff on his property. Folks, if they get these things, they're going to use them, and apparently they are. So evidently that 75-year-old was a real safety concern for all those SWAT guys, so they needed to roll out in that big MRAP, used overseas in Afghanistan and Iraq and in the Middle East there, so they could be protected from the 75-year-old. Holy smokes, what the F?
No kidding. And let me tell you, the sheriff in that county, in Marathon County. His excuse was, well, it just saves any problems that we might have with any resistance. It gets people to comply quickly. That is exactly what he said. It gets people to comply quickly. And guys, that's exactly what what they intend to do to us on a national basis. If you think that that's not what they intend to, it is a form of intimidation and forcing us to comply.
You're exactly right, V. Otherwise, why are the feds giving these things to them for, in some cases, virtually peanuts? Considering we spend, I don't know, it's got under 100,000, over 100,000. I mean, what does it matter among friends? You know, that's just not even real money anymore. But I mean, seriously, they're giving them to all these departments, and like I said, if these departments are getting them, folks, they're going to use them. There is no doubt about it. They're not just going to put them in the parades and wave at you and throw some candy at the kids on 4th of July. And Veterans Day or whatever, Memorial Day parades. They're going to use them. Along with all their other federally funded equipment that they have, their M4s and all the other fun toys that they get courtesy of the federal government. So there we go.
Well, I've got the what the F moments just keep on coming. This regime just continues to provide us with an amassed amount of material on a daily basis. You can go through. I mean, you stop and think about it, folks. How many times a day do you say, what the F?
Quite a few for me. I think 100 or more.
I'm betting at least 100 and for me. I am just betting. But here's one for you. The University of Missouri's research concludes that plants know when they are being eaten. What the F? Better yet, what the F on that? Hey, vegans, what the F are you going to eat now?
Oh, I've got some ideas, but I'm not going to say them.
You had to be nice.
I'm gonna bite my tongue right now, and I'm gonna hold it back, and I'm just gonna take. Okay, much better relaxation techniques. Okay, I'm good. All right.
But I saw that, and that was the first thing that got. I was like, these poor folks are gonna starve to death now.
Oh my word! Yeah, if you can't eat vegetables and you're vegan, I mean, what's left? Well, like I said, I'll digress from that.
Oh Lord!
Now, Tennessee, I got to give a shout out to Tennessee. What the F, Tennessee? After you hear this story, I mean, what's going on in Tennessee? A teacher at Harold McCormick Elementary School in Elizabethton, Tennessee, issued her students a handout from the Nation of Islam that portrayed the presidents on Mount Rushmore as being racist. A mother of one of the students, Summer Bauer, this is the mother's name, told Fox News that her 8-year-old son had received a handout that asked, "What does it take to be on Mount Rushmore?" Upon inspecting the handout, she discovered that not only was it loaded with poo-poo, I think we can say that on air, but it also linked to the homepage for the Nation of Islam. The handout explains that George Washington hailed from Virginia and was, quote, a prime breeder of black people, end quote. Of Theodore Roosevelt, the handout said it was alleged he called Africans, quote, unquote, ape-like. There were also disparaging remarks made of Thomas Jefferson that he enslaved 200 Africans and of Abraham Lincoln, and I'm not sure what they said about him. It doesn't say that here. She said her jaw dropped when she followed the link to a website that was listed on the handout, and imagine her surprise when up popped the Nation of Islam homepage. Tennessee, what the F?
Now, in the teacher's defense, she did say that it was a slip-up. However, every child in the classroom got slipped up on.
Right. It just happened to be a slip-up when she got caught.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've got to be fair now. We know they're liberals. I mean,
sure.
Oh, God. Somebody shoot me. Oh, never mind. I didn't say that because I know the NSA is listening to me.
Well, the one good thing about our friends at the NSA is if I ever have issues with my taxes, and folks, I'm thinking I'm going to, if I lose everything on this computer, I'll just ring up the NSA and they'll just send me a neat little document, and it'll have everything in it that I've got on my computer, and Oh boy.
Well, that's pretty much where I've gotten. Given the amount of taps that are on my phone lately, I don't have to worry about remembering anything. Just a phone number.
Hey, V, did I tell you? I just want to give a shout out to Lois Lerner. What's up? I'm your biggest fan. Just want you to know. Woo, boy.
Hey, I want to hide wherever your emails are when they come for me.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Well, Debbie Waddlebutt Schultz said this week that Republicans were scarier than Ebola. What the F? Seriously?
You want to know what's scarier than Ebola? Her hair.
Yeah, I mean to tell you.
I know we're not supposed to resort to personal attacks, but seriously, folks. Really? Okay, whatever.
You know, I have curly hair too, and in her defense, I understand that it's very, very hard to manage curly hair. However, Senor, do I have a problem managing my hair?
I don't believe so.
I didn't think so.
No?
Maybe I need to give her
mayonnaise or something as a styling substance. It looks, I don't know. Okay.
I do know a couple of hairdressers that can handle that for you, Waddlebutt. But while we're on the subject, though, I would like to lock her in a room with one of them. I'm just saying.
You got any ideas? Which one?
Well, yeah, I do. But, again, I know that I have ABC listening to me.
Good point. Just like I said a couple weeks ago, I'd like to see Bibi locked in a cage fight with Hussein Obama. Let's get ready to rumble, and let's throw a couple chairs in there, maybe some barbed wire, and let them go at it. And put that on pay-per-view. We can pay down a lot of the debt that
I wonder how Obama would look in the ring with his little cardboard 8.5 by 11 that says hashtag getting butt kicked.
He actually might do okay if we can throw a couple golf clubs in or something like that. I mean, because he's pretty familiar with those. That might, give him an unfair advantage. No, it still wouldn't. Anyway, let's move on. I don't want to say anymore.
Well, I've got another WTF moment. The climate change lobby group, Australian Youth Climate Coalition, compared coal mining to child molestation, as they are equally endangering children. What the F?
I don't even know what to say. Things
they've
like
lost
that are
their
so
minds.
ludicrous that it just doesn't. It's hard to comprehend.
They have lost their absolute minds.
They have.
I mean, without a doubt. Guys, I do need to tell you guys about what the F is going on in Ferguson.
All right.
Last night, some folks representing Anonymous, we're unsure if it was actually Anonymous, and some of the cohorts approached the city council during their meeting last night, provided them information on their prior purchases, their bank accounts, whose name their electricity was in, and other such personal information, where they resided, what their bank account numbers were, what they had last spent on which credit cards, and let them know that if Officer Darren Wilson was not convicted, they would all be financially just destroyed.
Wow.
And none of these people were arrested.
Talk about your intimidation tactics.
Well, I'm just thinking, if we could just ship them from Ferguson to Washington, D.C., we might get something done.
I'm telling you what. Yeah, we kind of talked about that last night, people to really look into the numbers and the figures.
But this is so... And nobody's arresting anybody, and I cannot wrap my mind around the fact that you would go into a city council meeting and threaten everyone there, every law enforcement member, everyone there, and tell them you will lose your home because you will not be able to afford to pay it. You will have no utilities. Your children's private school bill will not be paid. I will destroy your credit. You will spend the rest of your life attempting to repair the damage that I create for you, and they walk out the door and nothing occurs.
Well, remember, wasn't it last week or was it earlier this week when they blocked, was it I-75? And they were like literally blocking a multiple lane interstate highway and nobody was arresting. I don't get what's going on down there, but they're setting a dangerous precedent and they're letting them get away with a lot of stuff that they're enabling them basically and facilitating it by not doing anything, by not responding and reacting.
It's unreal. If you or I, number one, you or I and our listening base would not consider such an action.
Of course not.
I mean, honestly, because we're law-abiding folks. And it seems to me that the only people that get persecuted under this regime are law-abiding individuals.
You better believe it.
Oh, and the born. And maybe not even the born anymore.
Oh, I'm telling you. Well, I've got one more V, and this one kind of sickens me, but I'm going to put it out there. People need to know what's going on. My last WTF of the night, well, at least that I've pre-planned, at the University of North Carolina in Wilmington, they celebrated abortion heroes, including those who performed illegal abortions during an event held last week. According to the flyer promoting the event, the public university's LGBTQIA Resource Office partnered with the school's Women's Studies and Resource Center to host the event celebrating those who performed abortions before they were legal. And the event flyer promised free pizza to the students who attended. First of all, what the F is going on across this country, but especially at the University of North Carolina? And second of all, my other question is LGBTQIA. What's the IA? They keep adding.
I don't even know what the Q is. So.
Well, the Q is queer. It's L lesbian, G gay, B bisexual, T transtestical, Q queer, IA. I got nothing. Iowa? I mean, they keep adding all these letters. I don't know. IA. That's all I can think of.
So next it'll say IATNNY.
I don't know if we want to know what IA means, but I am going to find out. But
oh God! Well, update us when you do.
Oh, you better believe I will.
But this is a story that when I read it, I went, "Oh my gosh!" and I put my hands over my eyes. Who would want? I don't care whether or not you believe in choice or not. The fact of the matter is, whether or not you believe in choice, you are intelligent enough, I would hope, if you're over 5 years old, to know that there was a baby in your tummy, and that if you got any further than 2 weeks out in the pregnancy, that it had a heartbeat, and that you ended that heartbeat. What non-insane individual would celebrate the death of stopping a heartbeat? I know soldiers who have gone out and killed people. They do not celebrate it. I know soldiers that would go today against ISIS and they would gun them down and have no remorse, but they would not celebrate it.
I know.
There is something severely mentally wrong with these people.
Liberalism is a mental disorder, and that's true. That's not just a saying or a bumper sticker. That is the truth.
It just I don't understand it. I saw some of the tweets from that of be proud, and we should be celebrating those that had to do it with a coat hanger beforehand, and it was absolutely very disturbing. These are statements that you expect if you go to a mental hospital and sit in a room with the patients. It is not something that you expect when you go to a college like the University of North Carolina.
Right. So there you go, folks. Anybody that's sending their kids there's where your money's going, just so you know. That's part of what your money's being spent on over there at that university. Hey, V, real quick, if you can allow me to, I've got the definition of LGBTQIA.
Absolutely.
I think we know the first ones: lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans-testicle, queer. Now, I is intersex. Someone whose physical sex characteristics are not characterized as exclusively male or exclusively female. I don't even know what that means.
Wait a minute. Didn't we used to call that a hermaphrodite?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Maybe. So it's
okay, so
now.
it's been rebranded. Typical liberal tactic. Let's rebrand it. Okay.
But now wait. Asexual. A person who is not attracted to anyone, or a person who does not have a sexual orientation. And then there's another A, and it could also mean ally, which is a person who does not identify as LGBTQIA but supports the rights and safety of those who do. Safety of what? All the racists that are coming after them, or the big mean, bullies and stuff? Probably.
Wow.
But anyway, wow.
Unbelievable.
Asexual. So now we've got intersex and asexual added to lesbian, gay, bisexual.
I have to know. I have to ask if we have any gay listeners out there, and I hate to ask you to identify yourself. And if you don't want to identify yourself, by all means, go to the website, thewtfradioshow.com. Don't fill out any of the information except the comment. I promise I will not contact you. This information will go no further than me. Even the senor does not have access to this. So I am telling you, this stays strictly. Please let me know if you agree with this group. If you are gay, please go to my website, thewtfradioshow.com. That's THEWTFRADIOSHOW.com. And there is a tab for leave comments. Your email will not show up in your post. It will only come to me. I promise you that I will delete it immediately. I will never use it against you. I will not even look at it. But please put in the comments whether or not you believe and stand with this group. If you do, please tell me why, because I don't get it. And I don't want to be ignorant. I just don't get it. And if you can help me out, I would much appreciate it. If you can enlighten me, I would appreciate it.
I agree. I would love to too. And like I said, I won't know until afterwards. But I wasn't even going to be flip V when I said I long for the good old days when we had lesbians, gays, and the bisexuals, that were both.
I don't understand bisexual either. I'll be honest with you. I say pick a frickin' team.
But I mean, it makes more sense than this intersex, this asexual.
Just pick a team. Just pick a team.
I mean,
guys,
seriously.
we got to go to break. We'll be back in just a few moments.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
Over the next 40 years, the United States population is going to grow by over 90 million people, and almost all that growth is going to be in cities. What's the healthiest and best way for them to grow so that they really become cauldrons of prosperity and cities of opportunity? What we have found is that if that family is moved into safe, green, affordable housing, places that have access to great school systems, access to jobs, and multiple transportation modes, then the neighborhood begins to thrive and really, really take off. The oxygen of community redevelopment is financing. And all this rebuilding that happened could not have happened without organizations like Citi.
One of the things that we really try to do is to collaborate with people like Jonathan Rose, who are really like-minded and really can also provide innovative solutions to social issues.
And Citi has formed a partnership with our company so that we can take all the lessons from the revitalization of urban America to other cities. So we're now working in Chicago and in Washington, D.C., and Newark.
It's branching off of Jonathan's expertise and the fact that he has done so many wonderful affordable housing projects, new development and rehabilitation work. And so we were really seeing that there was a need for his skill in areas even outside of New York.
It's amazing how important safe, affordable housing is to the future of our society.
You meet new people, they want to know what you do. And when you tell them your job is to invest in things like low-income housing and schools and healthcare, they're shocked and they're so surprised that a job like this exists in finance. They always say that they had no idea, and then they want to know how they can get a job like that.
The most amazing thing about the Ford Fusion isn't the way it looks. The most amazing thing is the way it sees. With blind spot technology, a lane keeping system, and a standard rear view camera, the Fusion is ready for whatever comes your way. Go prepared. Go further.
You think you know the story of Dracula. You have no idea. But I'm going to show you.
My enemies threaten to destroy my kingdom. I want the power to save my family.
Dreams.
Welcome to your life.
My name is Dracula.
What's happening to you?
I chose this. Because men do not fear swords. They fear monsters.
This is not who you are.
There's always a price for power.
Everybody wants to rule.
I will not be defeated!
Dracula Untold, in theaters and IMAX October 10th. The Ouija board has existed for centuries. It is used to communicate with the dead.
If there's a presence here, please make yourself known.
This is a joke.
Oh my god. It's not even real, okay?
It's just a game.
Ouija.
We're saying goodbye!
Rated PG-13.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
All right, welcome back to WTF. I'm your host, V. Wright.
And I'm Jose Estevez. Welcome back, folks. Second hour. Please give us a call if you have any opinions about what we've been talking about, your own what the F moment from the past week or even today. Call us at 313-462-0068. Once again, that number is 313-462-0068. Folks, I just wanted to take 1 minute of your time out of this broadcast tonight and just say something about our last topic, the LGBTQIA. I was raised that being gay, homosexuality is a sin according to the Bible, and I do believe it is. However, I was also raised to believe, or raised to know that I am a sinner. And believe me, I am, folks. I'm not sitting here because I'm perfect, and I'm not living in a glass house.
I'll attest to that.
Thanks a lot for the vote of support. I'm not living in a glass house, and I am not going to cast damnation upon anyone or condemnation upon anyone. That is for God to do. That is for the Lord to do, not for me. So like I said, I think it is a sin, but I've got to love the sinner. And I don't understand this. So when you hear me say this, I just want that to come across and for you to understand my background and understand when I say things. I'm not trying to be hateful or mean. That's never my intention. Well, sometimes with Hussein and some of them, it really is. But with you folks, like I said, I just don't understand it. And of course, the whole militant part of it want nothing to do with that. You know, the very outspoken minority, 2% or whatever it is, that's constantly putting it in our face. And, you know, where my daughters have to see it and hear about it and stuff like that. And I just don't agree with that. So just wanted you to know where I'm coming from. And thanks for indulging me.
Well, I'm going to tell you my belief on it, okay? I don't care whether or not you're gay or straight. I don't care. The Constitution affords you the privacy in your own home to do whatever you want to do. I don't care what you do. However, when I go to the grocery store, you don't know what I do in the privacy of my home, and I like it that way, and I'd like to not know what you do in the privacy of your home. That's just my feelings on it. Again, I remind everybody, I don't go out in the street and lay out in the middle of the street and, find myself in compromising positions. I'm not a person that necessarily agrees with massive amounts of public displays of affection. I think that there are some things that should be done inside the home. I think that's why the Constitution affords us privacy, and I don't think enough people take advantage of that. And I'll leave it at there.
Well said, V. Agree with what you said wholeheartedly as well.
I'm not anti-gay. I'm just anti-display.
Hey, a little ditty there, a little rhyme there.
Now, before the break, too, you did a WTF moment in regards to celebration at University of North Carolina of abortion. And I understand you have some information on a recent study or a recent poll.
V and folks, I have got to tell you right now, this, and it's dated October 29. It's fresh. I don't even know quite how to approach this. Definitely not flippantly. I'm very much anti-abortion. We've made that clear. I'm pro-life. Life is beautiful. I myself was adopted. Thank God my mom didn't go the abortion route, and I won the lottery as far as the adoption goes. I mean, wonderful parents. I love them to death. I've never seeked out. I don't think that's the right way to say it, but I've never tried to find my birth parents or anything like that. So just a little bit about me. But this story is more college students support post-birth abortion. Well, obviously post-birth abortion is after they're born, and folks, they are saying that a lot of some of these kids that they've polled, one young man at the University of Minnesota thought it was all right to kill children if they were under the age of 5 years old, as they do not consider them persons until they are that age. And this is happening across the United States. This has been at Purdue, University of Minnesota, University of Central Florida, Ohio State, where they were defending infanticide, because that's what it is at that point. It's not abortion after they're out of the womb and they're born, and they're that old. And they said a common number that is going around is 4 years old. And they're saying that there's a Peter Singer, a philosopher, I don't know if that's what I'd call him, but he supported infanticide, and he said in 1979 that, quote, "Human babies are not born self-aware or capable of grasping that they exist over time. They are not persons. Therefore, the life of a newborn is of less value than the life of a pig, a dog, or a chimpanzee," end quote. V, I don't know what to say.
When I read that, it brought tears to my eyes that the youth in this country value life so little that they feel like that someone is not self-aware at the age of 4 years old, and that's what makes them a human being. If that's what makes them a human being, let's be honest about when self-awareness happens. A baby in the womb reaches for its feet and plays with its feet. I've watched this on an ultrasound. I have watched them fight with their finger and get it to their mouth to suck their thumb in an ultrasound. So they are still in the womb. So, we're going to be real clear here. Those are actions of self-awareness.
They sure are.
So these kids are being brainwashed into doing whatever, saying or believing whatever is necessary to subside your guilt for taking the life. Go ahead.
Mind-boggling. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's just mind-boggling. I think when we're in a country that we are with the freedoms we have, and the life of a human, whether it's taken during abortion or now, like some people are saying, post post birth up to the age of 4 or 5, and life is so cheap. Even we hear about Chicago every weekend and all the black on black violence and how many are killed. When life gets that cheap, I think we're in a very post-constitutional republic, and I don't see a whole lot of good coming from that. When the youth that are being raised and that are in these colleges are being exposed and taught things like this, I mean, I want them to have a good viewpoint of different things and different views, but wow, I can't imagine.
But not pure insanity.
Right.
I mean, not things. I mean, they like to, in the college environment, you find a lot of atheists there because they like to profess that every decision and every thought that they have is based on science. Well, the science says that at 2 weeks, that is a child. That is a life. And how come, let me ask you this, how come if I go to Mars and I find a single-celled organism, that is life, but if it's in the womb, it is not?
Good point. Great point. Right back in their face. Good point.
They found life on the excavations of the exiting points of magma in the bottoms of the ocean, single-cell organisms, yet they have called them life and they have named them.
I know.
But if it's in the womb, it's not.
Yeah,
and to sit here and say, well, the woman, it's my right. I'm going to tell you, as a woman, I find that particularly offensive. Oh, it's my body. It's my body. No, honey, you chose to share it. You shared it with a man, and now you're sharing it with a child. And if you didn't want to share it, you shouldn't have shared it with the first one first.
Well, and of course, my upbringing and, the deeply religious upbringing, and I say that there is a God and our bodies belong to God. So I struggle with that because I'm overweight, and if the body's a temple, then I should not be overweight. So that's my issue to struggle with. But I mean, if you go look at that even, it's not just your body. And it's a temporary thing. So, I mean, if you look at it from that point, that's why I have so much problem with people that go to church and say they're Christians but support pro-choice. I don't see how you can. I don't think it's possible.
Well, I will tell you, I was speaking of church. I have been in my church, and I have been in part of a ladies' group, the women of the church.
Mm-hmm.
And this topic has come up, and there are women in my church who have had this procedure done.
Uh-huh.
And many of them acknowledge that until they had children in a marital relationship, or until they had another child that took its first breath, they did not realize the impact of their actions. And that since that moment, they have looked at their children, and that there is not a day in watching that child that they do not feel guilt or remorse or question where they are going to be beyond this existence because of the selfish choices that they made in their youth. It's been a very tearful exposure. It's been very sad to listen.
That's going to be very powerful, yeah, definitely.
It is extremely moving, and some of these ladies, I have a very good friend of mine that I went to high school with who took a summer vacation and was sexually assaulted by multiple individuals. She came home at the age of 15 years old, had that child. She just, not too long ago, graduated from yet another course in college. Another degree in college, and my friend cannot imagine life without her.
Isn't that something beautiful?
And that option was definitely on the table for her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she couldn't do it. And I'm not sitting here and I'm not bashing those women who have made the decision. I am bashing, however, those that use it as a form of birth control.
Yes, exactly.
It is not a form of birth control, and I don't understand the concept of having gone that route and not feeling any guilt. And it just goes back to soullessness. We are so self-consumed as a society that the only thing that is concerning to us is us. And it's not us as a collective, as the Democrats would like you to believe, as liberals would like you to believe. It is us as the individual. Because I can tell you, living next door to one, they don't give 10 cents what you think or what you do, as long as it does not cross the fence.
Right. But, we've got all these issues. It was a year or two ago, Rush walked into a big one with Sandra Fluck. And, this whole thing with she couldn't afford birth control. Folks, birth control, really? It's ludicrous that you say you can't afford birth control when they give it out to kids. In high school, you can, I think, without even parent permission.
For at least 25 years. I'm a woman. I'm going to tell you, for at least 25 years, you could go to the local Planned Parenthood or the health department and pick up the pill.
Sure. And God forbid, I'm old-fashioned. Abstinence, ever heard of that word? Just refraining from it. Not even necessarily until you're married, but seriously. Just plain old abstinence, folks.
How about monogamy?
Monogamy?
Knowing that you're in a committed relationship.
These are all such old-fashioned terms, but I think maybe we should bring them back into the lexicon, so the kids hear them. But I don't think they're going to hear them in colleges. Because that would go totally against what they're trying to teach them and brainwash them with. All these people high up in academia.
What you've got the question is, if a child has no life value, what does? Do you as an adult?
Good point.
What has value?
Right.
If life has no value, if human life has no value, if we have placed no value at all on our fellow Homo sapiens, then what exactly does have value?
Good point. And based on Obamacare and all these, jokes and how they berated Sarah Palin about death panels, let's talk about that for a second. At what age do you no longer have value, and who makes that determination? Because I think recently, wasn't the number 75 that was thrown out by someone in the regime?
I don't. Is it really that old?
This is scary stuff.
That's why they don't have a problem with having the consultations for death these days.
This is a slippery slope, folks, and believe me, communism, Marxism, Leninism, socialism, whatever you want to call it, lots of people die when countries go to that. Lots of people die. And, euthanasia, whatever you want to call it, abortion, post-birth abortion, all these other terms that they use, just because they don't line you up by a ditch and shoot you in the back of the head, it's scary to contemplate where we're going with this.
It's it blows my mind, because I don't understand if when with that last story and with this story, you sit here and they relish and celebrate in this, and the thought that a child 5 years old knows their ABCs, typically knows how to write their name.
Yes.
Can put on their clothes, can let you know when they're hungry, when they have a need, if they do not feel well. And it's okay. It's okay because they're not self-aware. Do you know how many people I know that are not self-aware?
I know a lot of liberals that aren't self-aware, and they're a lot older than 4 or 5. I can tell you that much right now.
Well, I know a lot of liberals that's the only thing that they are is self-aware.
And there's that too. But I'm telling you what, if that's going to be the only criteria, folks, there are going to be long lines around here. Let's, come on.
It just blows the mind. It just really blows the mind that this would even be a consideration. Why? I want to know what fool decided. Does it say who decided to go and ask these questions? I would love to know what motivated them to even go to these college campuses and ask this question.
It just says campus pro-life outreach leaders are pro-life activists frequently engage college students on campuses, and they're noticing a growing acceptance of post-birth abortion. Yeah, wow.
Wow.
Okay, here we go. Anecdotal evidence by leaders of pro-life groups such as Created Equal and survivors of the abortion Holocaust said in interviews that not only do they see more college students willing to say they support post-birth abortion, but some students even suggest children up to 4 or 5 years old can also be killed, and once again, because they are not yet, quote-unquote, self-aware. And then, like I said, they talked about a bunch of these college campuses that they had been on. While this viewpoint is still seen as shocking by most people, it is becoming increasingly popular. And that's the next generation, folks. I mean, that's these are the next generation that are coming up. Like all these guys we've got over here that are doing the great things they're doing at Princeton and that college in Florida. I forget the name. Pardon me. I'm sorry. We love you guys. But all these colleges, there's good people out there too. We've got to remember that. We can't do a generalization, but I am telling you what. The fact that there's even people out there on all these college campuses that are thinking this, these are your years. 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road.
I would like to, that's something else that I would like to ask from our chat. If you guys aren't going to call in at 313-462-0068, and please let us know, at least on chat, how insane is this to you? Yeah. I mean, at what point is taking a life too far? Because so far I'm seeing from the left that it goes from conception to elder age. And where do you fall in that?
Right.
When you start saying, oh, it's okay to kill children, and it's okay if old people have outworn their welcome. So where does it, I mean, this is not an episode of Logan's Run here in this country, guys.
Yeah, fiction is stranger than truth. I don't know. I mean, what's going on here? I don't understand it. It makes me sad, really. I mean, ultimately, it just makes me sad.
I absolutely, I shed tears over this story. I really did. It was that bad, and I don't shed tears. I'm not a particularly heart-feeling individual. I have a heart as big as the sky.
Right.
But I'm not particularly emotional in that aspect. Mm-hmm. But to sit here and think, I have a grandson who will be 5 in January. And to think, as I've watched him grow and develop, from the moment he took his first breath, and I was there, that his life would be extinguishable because, in essence, he was a burden to someone. It turns my stomach. And as I say that story, I also think about the death panels that Sarah Palin warned us about. And they have done it. They're not calling them death panels. They're calling advisory boards. But it's the same thing for our elderly. And for 5 years, I took care with my mother in taking care of my grandmother for 5 years while she had end-stage Alzheimer's. And she did not ever want to go to a nursing home. Mm-hmm. So we abided by that wish, and we kept her home until the morning she passed. Right. At no time ever was it ever a consideration of, I just wish she would die.
Right.
I mean, when you love somebody, you think, I want to hold on to this person just one more day. One more day, one more hour, one more minute, anything. And it just blows my mind that these people do not have a comprehension of what true love is. I mean, that is so sad.
It's difficult to comprehend. I mean, just because I'm, the way I was raised and who I am. It's difficult to comprehend. And it is sad, but it also makes me angry. And maybe that's selfish because someday they could use it against me, on the older end of the spectrum. I think I'm self-aware at this point. I feel like I'm self-aware. I mean, do I have to put a little sign on? Leave me alone.
I don't know, but I'm going to tell you, we've got a chatter on chat, and this goes back to our discussion about being gay.
Okay.
I have never said this publicly. I have been in the public eye for almost 30 years.
Right.
But I'm going to say it for this one green-shirted chatter. I'm not going to say his name on air.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying. I had an uncle who lived in California. He got AIDS. My mother brought him to her home and cared for him till he passed away. I have a sister who is gay and has been gay since way before it was okay to be out of the closet. So the names that you were called are unacceptable. Those were not people like me. Please understand that. And those were not people like Jose that would come off with names like that. Because those people had no sense of decency. And a decent person says, I don't agree with what you do, or maybe I don't understand what you do, or I don't understand how this happens, but you're still a human being, and you're still a brother in life. And that is absolutely horrible that those kind of names are so severely attached, and they are done with such malice. And the fact of the matter is, I hear those names come out of liberals' mouths all the time. And I'm not saying that conservatives don't say them by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying Christians don't say them. I'm telling you, I don't say them. So I'm directing this specifically at our chatter, and I hope you understand where I'm coming from. And my friend Jose here is not only my partner and co-host of this show, but he is my friend.
Yes.
And he would never say that to you or about you.
No. That's why I wanted to say what I said at the top of the hour, just to get that out there. Folks, does anybody want to weigh in on anything tonight? I thought our lines would be packed. Come on, call.
Oh, come on.
You're not shy.
What the
I know they're not shy, V.
Wednesday.
I know they are not shy. So call 313-462-0068 after the break. We're going to have a half hour. We'll try to get a little bit more on a upbeat topic, but I think we need to spend time on all these things. There's serious matters that we need to deal with, but we also need to make light of things while getting the information out there that so many things are happening. But after the break, call us 313-462-0068. Hit us up on Facebook if you're afraid to have your voice on the air. We'll take it from there, but love to have some interaction from you folks. We love that. And I just wanted to say something real quick, V, before the break, if I can.
Go ahead.
You had just said something about your mom taking care of an uncle, I believe. And I just wanted to give a shout out to your mom. Not going to say names or anything like that, but she is an amazing woman. Sense of humor that won't stop. I know you guys lost somebody close to you really,
within the last
month
2
or so.
months, yeah.
Last month or so. But I mean, and you too, of course. But your mom is she's a stitch.
She is.
I just love her to death, and I know the feeling's mutual. So I just want to give a shout out to your mom, and yeah, she's just an amazing woman, and you come from really good stock, and just you do her proud, and she's a good person. So.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a moment.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
How are things with the new guy? All we do is go out to dinner. That's it? I mean, he picks up the tab every time, which is great. Why? He's using you. He probably has a city thank you card, and he gets 2 times the points at restaurants. So he's just racking up points with me.
Some people.
Ugh. No, I got it.
The Citi Thank You Preferred Card. Now earn 2 times the points on dining out and entertainment with no annual fee. To apply, go to citi.com/thankyoucards.
It's not about how many miles you can get out of the C-Max Hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
You think you know the story of Dracula? You have no idea. But I'm going to show you.
My enemies threaten to destroy my kingdom. I want the power to save my family.
Drink.
Welcome to your life.
My name is Dracula.
What's happening to you?
I chose this. Because men do not fear swords. They fear monsters.
This is not who you are.
There's always a prize for power.
Everybody wants to rule.
I will not be defeated!
Dracula Untold. In theaters and IMAX, October 10th. The Ouija board has existed for centuries. It is used to communicate with the dead.
If there's a presence here, please make yourself known.
This is a joke.
Oh my god. It's not even real, okay?
Ouija.
We're saying goodbye!
Rated PG-13.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
The American dream has become a nightmare. Signs of the time are on cardboard on corners in town. Like a cancer that's silently spreading, there's an unspoken fear. We're on our way down. We must take America back. Main Street to Wall Street, cities and states, Washington, D.C. Before it's too late, there's not long. We need leaders who lead us, not stick us and bleed us, then ransom our future and our children's, that's wrong. We must take America back as liberty weeps, our forefathers spin in their graves. Pray God will bless some way out of this mess. We must take America back. Fight for freedom, and the soul of the USA. Right here, right now, it's Independence Day. We must take America back. Main Street to Wall Street, cities and states, Washington, D.C. Before it's too late, there's not long. Then he will bless and protect the U.S. We must take America back. We must take America back.
Guys, welcome back to WTF. I'm your host, V. Wright.
And I'm Jose Estevez.
Guys, moving along, we've got a caller on the line. Yes, caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Juan Paco Enrique Gomez from Syracuse, New York.
Hola, Senor JPEG.
I just want to mention, first off, had a little tweet today to Planned Parenthood, all of their accounts. They've got 4 or 5 Twitter accounts, and to Wendy Davis's account. It was a simple question. I just wanted to know whether the 157th trimester was too late.
Oh, Lord. Well, you know, I had one even better with her today. Someone posted something about her, and I just flat out said, you know, don't say anything to her. You know, don't tell her to put anything in her mouth, because every time one of her holes is filled up, a baby gets thrown in the dumpster.
You guys, you folks are marked. There's, I don't.
If I could switch
Oh, my
to something
goodness.
serious here for a minute. Our 2 greatest allies in the world, our 3 greatest, are Canada, Great Britain, and Israel. And that's
Agreed.
no slight to Australia and all of our other great allies. But Canada, Great Britain, and Israel are our 3 closest allies.
Agreed.
So here, this son of a bitch, the first thing he does when he takes office is he signs executive orders hiding all of his past and his wife's past. And we let him get away with that. And the second thing he did is box up the bust of Winston Churchill, whose mother was American, that was given to the people of the United States, not to George Bush, to the people of the United States after 9/11 as a symbol of the bond between the 2 countries, and he sent it back.
Well, I would just about guarantee he would pack up the Statue of Liberty if he could.
I'm sure. And
But
let's
now
not forget. Let's not forget he didn't send anybody when Lady Thatcher was.
Bibi Netanyahu is one of the foremost leaders of freedom in the world today. I mean, he literally is up there with Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, and Blessed John Paul II. Bibi Netanyahu is probably the greatest force for freedom in the world today, because we certainly aren't anymore.
Agreed.
And somebody in his administration, who is probably him, calls Netanyahu chicken shit, a man who served in the Sayeret Matkal Special Forces Unit while Barry was captain of the Choom Gang. I'm outraged. What the fuck?
Oh.
You know, I knew it was bound to slip sooner or later.
Whiskey, Tango, Foxtrot.
Whiskey, there you go. WTF.
We're gonna need some post show.
We're gonna,
editing.
yeah, we are definitely gonna have to be edited tonight.
Yeah, but no, wholeheartedly agree. Wholeheartedly agree with the sentiment and the feelings as well. How dare they say something like that about Bibi? You know, you look at that little strip of land that the Israelis have over there, and how they're surrounded by enemies, literally, almost on every side, literally, in the Middle East there. And I mean, you know, like we had that one story earlier. You know, this kid's throwing Molotov cocktails, and the regime won't even say he's a terrorist. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous. It's mind-boggling. And there they are.
I just don't know how he can continue to get away with a violation of law, violation of international protocol, violation of common standards of decency, and the guy skates on everything.
Well, I will tell you this. I will tell you this when it comes to this situation. The fact of the matter is that you know, a few years ago, Arpaio in Maricopa County, Arizona,
Arizona, Joe Arpaio. Yep.
Out of his own pocket, paid for an investigation team to go out and find out all the information they could in regards to President Pandemic's history. And they found some very interesting things out, and they turned those files over to every member of Congress and every member of the Senate. Yet you have heard not a word. And I'm sorry, folks, but I think that we live in J. Edgar times where our government is being controlled by a single individual, either through blackmail or coercement. And
well, we know that
makes
John
them all
Roberts has been
complicit.
blackmailed, and that's how the Obamacare vote turned out.
It
He
seems
was
that way.
blackmailed
It
about
certainly
his
does.
children's adoption.
Right. You there, B?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally agree with the caller. I think they're all complicit. I think they know what's going on. I mean, I said a long time ago it was a coup, sort of, the way it all happened, went down, and nobody did anything about it. And he continues to rule. Congress basically has abdicated their responsibilities in the House and the Senate, letting him do whatever he wants. And he's got his little pen, and he's got his phone, and he writes these executive orders and releases them every Friday, as soon as the news cycle's done. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. It's a lawless regime. It's a country starting to be a country without laws. The borders are open. You can come in, break the law, and you're not even considered a lawbreaker. Heck, here's your EBT card. Here's some free housing. Here's some clothes. Here's what do you need? What do you need? You keep speaking your own language, keep your own customs. Don't try to assimilate a bit. Here's everything you want.
We're flying them up from Guatemala to save them having to go through the length of Mexico. We're flying illegal aliens in using taxpayer money. WTF?
WTF indeed. Indeed.
Keep fighting a good fight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the call.
Thank you for the call. Wow. Guys, I'm going to bring up something. Michelle Nunn Martin, of course, she doesn't use Martin in her Georgia election thing. Of course, after the Georgia polls have been open for the last 3 weeks. And, of course, after well over half of the black populace in the state of Georgia have done their early voting, and there is limited people to reach out to, she announced today, guess what, folks? She's pro-amnesty. Amazing how that did not come out before now.
With 6 days to go.
Oh, yeah. Well, only after, well over half of her base has already voted, of course.
Hey, V, I got a question for you.
What is that?
Why do they call them dreamers? Because I think they're a nightmare. First of all, they broke the rules to get here. They get free college, they get free housing, they get EBT, they get free food. I mean, come on, really? I mean, yeah, I'd love to have that dream, too, where I don't have to do anything and everything gets thrown at me, but it's just not probably realistic in my life. Why do they... Wow.
Well, I have no idea why they call them dreamers. I guess that, it was their dream to be here. Unfortunately, it was the rest of America's nightmare, and half of the population doesn't even recognize that it's a nightmare
Good point.
yet.
Good point. They don't, just because they don't yet doesn't mean they won't.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this, the black community is starting to wake up. There is an activist in the city of Chicago, in the state of Illinois, who has become very vocal, and he has been a liberal activist for probably 20 or so years, and he is becoming a nightmare for this regime over this instance. And the reason behind it is he has been very well, he is able, unlike so many, to recognize that the black community is already suffering, that they're having a hard time. They have their own problems. Now, is that necessarily the rest of our the responsibility for that fall on the shoulders of you and I and the rest of our listeners? No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree when they call racism and all that other crap. No, I think it is a choice, and it's a lifestyle, and it is something that has just been perpetuated in their environments, and these leaders of these communities and these activists have not stood up prior against the things that led them down this road. But I do believe that in situations like this, they are starting to wake up to realize that they are going to be further hindered in getting the black communities where they could be with all of these illegal invaders. And the fact of the matter is, they are also starting to wake up to the fact that the Democrat Party has done nothing for them except keep them down so that the next election they can promise them something for the last 50 years. And there is a great influx of people in our black communities that are waking up and recognizing this, and they are understanding that this is the reason that they are starting to allow all of these invaders, because they know that the sale of the vote is wearing thin. The black community are starting to question, wait a minute, you told me that 10 years ago. You told me that 20 years ago. Nothing is changing. Things are getting worse. Our ghettos have gone from being X number to 10 times X number, and you keep promising us the same thing. Now, is that to say that there aren't some out there that are always going to believe the sales pitch? Yes, there are those. There are those. But you know what, guys? We can say what we want to about our black communities. I have some very wonderful black friends that came out of the ghettos where liberalism is run rampant, where welfare is the day-to-day norm, where living in a projects house is what many in their community aspire for. And they have come out and they have done wonderful things, and they are wonderful conservatives. They get it, and they are making an attempt to educate those that from the communities from whence they came.
And it's an uphill battle because they've been promised so much for so many years, and they've believed it, and just it's been generational. They've gone along with it, and it's tough, in the areas where they typically live, the inner cities and stuff like that, to break free of that. But you're right, we've got some great conservatives that whose skin color happens to be black. I mean, it shouldn't even be a consideration, but boy, think about the ones that we can name that are just amazing people, and the minds. I mean, their minds are just awesome, and boy, they would do better than this president on any given day of the week and on a week of Sundays. I mean, and some of them served in the military, and we've got the doctor. We've got all these people. I'm blanking on the names, that's why I'm kind of generalizing, but we've got so many good people out there.
Are you talking about Ben Carson?
Ben Carson is the doctor. Who's the military man? How come I can't remember this?
Alan West?
Help me out. Alan West. I mean, this guy, he's bulldog, and in the whole military thing, and just an amazing mind. There's so many good people out there. Thomas Sowell. There's just so many good people out there. But like I said, they've got to get this mindset out that they just vote for someone because they're black, as happened in both of the elections for Obama, by overwhelming numbers across the board in the black communities. But once again, they're promised things, and they go for that because, let's face it, the way the conservatives and the way I look at it is, I want you to work for something because it'll mean more to you in the long run than me giving it to you. And sure, it might be hard. And guess what? You're not guaranteed anything. That's kind of a hard sell, V. That's kind of a hard sell for anybody.
I know.
Yeah, I think about that. I mean, I can't guarantee. If you work hard and you do all this and that, you're going to get this. But you can't say that last part, from a conservative viewpoint. It's like you might get this, and you might get far more than that. But there's no guarantees. But they get promised things, but yet they never get them, and that doesn't seem to register, I guess.
Well, the other thing you've got to look at on the other end of the scale is you have people that in white communities, and usually, I hate to say this. Oh my God, I'm going to sound horrible.
Okay.
But it's trailer parks, and
sure.
There are areas that are all white that are very poor areas, and let's face it, I'm going to remind you guys, there are just as many white people on welfare as there are in black folks, and the fact of the matter is, the only difference is the percentage of the population. Only because we have more white folks in this country. Right. But let's look at those white communities. they too are very complacent with being taken care of. They are not motivated. They're not self-started. They lack whatever confidence or encouragement or nature or nurture or whatever it is that puts that ball of fire in your stomach and says, I want better. They are quite, comfortable in their less is more lifestyles. So this is not just a black thing.
Not
and they are just as stupid as most of the liberal blacks. I mean, typically anybody that does not have that inherent quality in them to strive for something more and to want to be able to hold on to the things that they attain, they don't get it. They don't get it, and they fall in that liberal mentality of, give me more. I deserve. I want. Therefore I should get. It's not a I want. Therefore I should earn.
Right, and the liberals are more than willing to keep deceiving them and keeping them as a voting bloc. And then there's another voting bloc that I heard something about today. I don't have it in front of me, V. I think you and I had talked about it, though. It sounds like the unions are a little upset with this possibility of a blanket amnesty and the numbers that they're talking about, because guess what? That's going to hurt the unions for cheap, because it'll be cheaper labor. And gee, who do you think the corporations are going to go with? Somebody they can pay, $8-10 an hour, or somebody that's making $25 an hour to stand there and will only sweep the shop because that's the only thing in his job description. And so they can go over and smoke marijuana on their break and get caught over there in the park, like happened right around the time of the bailouts and stuff like that. The union employees. So there's another proven Democrat voting bloc that is not real happy at this point with 6 days left to go before the election.
Well, this country is full of WTF moments. It's WTF Wednesday. We have had a blast with you guys tonight. I'm glad that we were able to touch on some subjects that we don't normally touch on and get in depth. Guys, I really do want you to go to our website, thewtfradioshow.com, and please leave your comments and let me know what you thought of tonight's show. Educate me. I'm open for being educated.
Me as well.
I'm not closed-minded. I may be wrong. I am one of the few women out there that you will hear say I have been wrong.
Oh, Lordy. Mark it down, 8:54 p.m. Eastern Time, October 29, 2014, for posterity.
So for all you men out there, y'all have finally heard a woman say, I can be wrong and I have been wrong. Guys, we've had a great night with you guys. We hope you guys have enjoyed it too. I'm V. Wright.
I'm Jose Estevez. God bless America and all of you folks.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Plastic LA friends, ain't on the edge of no popular trend. Ain't never seen the inside of that magazine GQ. We don't care if you're a lawyer or a Texas old man, or some waitress busting ass in some liquor stand. If you got soul, we hang out with people just like you. My hair's turning white, my neck's always been red, my collar's still blue. We've always been here, just trying to sing the truth to you. Guess you could say we've always been red, white, and blue.
Wanna know where I've been? Just look at my hand. Yeah, I'm driven by the White House, spent some time in jail. Mama cried, but she still wouldn't pay my bill. I ain't been no angel, but even God, he understands. Yeah. Well, my hair's turning white, my neck's always been red, my collar's still blue. We've always been here, just trying to sing the truth to you. Guess you could say we've always been red, white, and blue. Yeah, that's right. Daddy worked hard, and so have I. We paid our taxes and gave our lives to serve this great country. So what are they complaining about? Yeah, we love our families, we love our kids. You know it's love that makes us all so rich. That's where we're at. If they don't like it, they can just get to hell out. My hair's turning white, my neck's always been red, my collar's still blue. We've always been here, just trying to sing the truth to you. Always been red, my collar's still blue. We've always been here, just trying to sing the truth to you. Guess you could say